What's good, everybody? It's your man, it's Ken Jackson. And this is the Ken Jackson Experience, coming to you on a pre-recorded show tonight. So many things going on in the world. It's crazy. It's really crazy. Here, let me turn my hotspot off, since we're not broadcasting live. So, anyway, obviously y'all all know what's going on in the world. Bunch of craziness. Israel is blowing the top off of Gaza. 12,000 Palestinians dead now. Crazy. Hamas has started trading some of the hostages back to Israel, and Israel has in turn released some of the hostages they've been holding. Yeah, I call them hostages, not prisoners. They're hostages too. It's crazy because this whole thing started in 1948. You know it. Everybody knows it. Nobody wants to admit it. And don't get me wrong. I personally have no problem with Jewish people having their own state, their own country, or whatever you want to call it. But the way that it was done back in 1948, in my opinion, was wrong. It was totally wrong. Because basically, what you had was Great Britain was holding that land that we all know as Palestine, irregardless of whether they had an official country designation or official government or whatever. It was land that the British had stolen. And at the end of World War II, Jewish people were screaming for a homeland. We need our homeland. And we need that land that God promised us. And my question's always been, who's your God? Who is your God that he's greater than everybody else's God, and that he promised that particular piece of land to you? And granted, I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care what mantra you follow, what denomination or whatever. But if you're worshiping a God that's playing favorites among humans, you're probably worshiping the wrong damn God. I hear a lot of Christians say, well, you know, the Jewish people are God's chosen people. Wait a minute. So even you Christians are worshiping a God that plays favorites? Really? Hey, whatever floats your boat. Me personally, though, I ain't buying it. I ain't following it. I'm not subscribing to it. I think it's a bunch of hogwash, but that's my opinion that I'm entitled to. But let's get back to 1948. The way that the state of Israel was established, in my opinion, was wrong. it was wrong for a number of reasons. The main reason is that there were people already living there, minding their own business, not bothering anybody. But the British went in there and conquered and stole and hoodwinked and hijacked and did all that they could do. And at the end of World War II, when Jewish people were saying, hey, we need us a homeland, Great Britain said, hey, why don't you take this land? We have some land you can have. But the problem was it didn't belong to the British, the English, or the Crown. It didn't belong to them. They stole it. Palestinians were already living there, minding their own business, farming, nomading, raising goats, doing whatever it is that they were doing back in them days. And Great Britain just told the Jewish people, hey, you can have this land. We'll call it Israel. Or you call it Israel. Or whatever. You call it what you want. That's your land now. Oh, Palestinian people, y'all got to move. Because the Jews are coming. And we gave this land to them. Well, who the fuck are you? We're God. We're their God. And we promised them this land. So you got to pack up all your shit, get your goats, get your camels, get your horses, your cows, and whatever. Pack up your shit. You got to move because they're coming. And we're backing them up. So if you don't move, we're going to make you move. And that's when it all started, folks, back in 1948. I know it's a crude description, but that's basically what happened. Now, again, I personally have no problem with Jewish people, with their religion, their culture, or whatever you want to call it. I have no issue with them having a place to call home. Everybody should have a place to call home. But not at the expense of taking other people's homes. Not because your invisible God said that you can have this particular piece of land, so just go in there and kick out these other people that are already living there and make yourself at home. That was wrong. Call me what you want, but that's just my opinion. And I know a lot of you out there are going to disagree, but that's okay. That's what's great about America. We can agree to disagree. But anyway, so now here we are, fast forward to 2023, and these idiots called Hamas, yeah, they're idiots. They're a bunch of animals. Don't have any home training. They storm across the border into Israel from Gaza. I can't even say into Israel because as far as I can tell, Gaza is Israel too. Gaza is just Israel's big open-air prison. So basically, these idiots who call themselves Hamas basically broke out of prison, killed a bunch of Israelis, took a bunch of Israeli hostages or prisoners of war, which would be more accurate because they've been at war for the better part of 50-something years. And now we have this lopsided-ass conflict going on where Israel is bombing the shit out of Gaza. and telling 2.5 million people that y'all got to get out the way because we ain't going to stop till we kill all of Hamas. Problem is, how can you tell who the hell Hamas is from 10, 15,000 feet up in the sky? They're just bombing indiscriminately. Oh, well, there's a Hamas stronghold under this school. Drop a bomb on it. There's a Hamas command center under this hospital. Drop a bomb on it. There's all these tunnels all under Gaza. Just bomb everything. Oh, Palestinians, y'all got to get out the way. And while they're getting out the way, hey, bomb them too. That's basically what's happening now. But all people can focus on is that day Hamas broke out of prison, killed 1,000 plus Israelis, took 200 and some hostages or prisoners, whichever way you want to call them. And basically calling this like the Israeli Pearl Harbor, so to speak. And don't get it twisted. I in no way co-sign or endorse anything that Hamas has done. I think what they did was wrong, especially in the taking of women and children. I think it was totally wrong. And they definitely need to suffer for what they did. But the Palestinian people are the ones suffering. Think about this. The Gaza Strip, for the last 50 plus years, has been under total Israeli control. They can't do anything. They can't leave. The Israelis have had all the borders blocked. They've had the waterways blocked. You can't leave by boat. Can't fly out. There's no industry in Gaza. There are no resources whatsoever other than what Israel allows to come in. So there's really no commerce to be had. There's no the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank, mind you, are under total Israeli control. Make that make sense to me. Tell me how it's okay that the Israeli government can basically put their foot on the neck of all Palestinians living in these two regions and tell them to just don't worry, be happy, basically. You can't eat, shit, sleep, or do anything without our permission. Think about that. Think about if that were you. Think about if somebody came to your house, banging on your door, kicking down the doors, and said, pack up your shit, you gotta move because some settlers are moving into this neighborhood and they want this property. And we don't care how you feel about it. We don't care. You have no say whatsoever. You gots to go. Well, where are we going to go? We're going to put you over here on the Gaza Strip, and you can find you a place to live there. Think about that. Think about if that were you? And be honest. Be honest. 99.9% of you motherfuckers would not like that. But yet, you're out here singing Kumbaya and holding hands with Israel while the Palestinian people are dying by the thousands every day. And then you got motherfuckers say, well, Israel has a right to defend itself. Anybody has a right to defend themselves, including the Palestinians. They've been bullied for the last 75, 76 years. And every now and then, they swing back. And unfortunately, this last time, some motherfuckers swung back and bloodied up some noses. They swung back and hit hard, and that shit hurt. And now the Israeli government, not the Israeli people, not the Jewish people, so don't get it twisted. The Israeli government has gone all out. And I believe that they're trying to kill everybody on the Gaza Strip. I think, honestly, they want to push all Palestinians out of Gaza and claim that land as their own. Have you heard of the Ben Gurion Canal Project? Bet you haven't heard of that, have you? Well, the Ben Gurion Canal Project is a direct response to the Suez Canal, which is currently controlled by Egypt. Anything flowing from the Far East to the Mediterranean to Europe has to go through the Suez Canal. And the Suez Canal is a one-way passage. 6 hours a day, all the traffic moves north. For the other 6 hours a day, all the traffic moves south. Egypt has earned billions of dollars collecting fees of passage through the Suez Canal. Guess who doesn't like that? The United States, Great Britain, the European Union, and Israel. So, Israel is building a canal that runs through from the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean called the Ben Gurion Canal. And guess where it's planned to run through? Right through the Gaza Strip. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Look it up. Look it up. Boy, let me tell you something. White people are something else. Yes, it's white people. It's white people. They want everything. They want to control everything. They want to tell everybody what and how to do everything. Think about it. Both world wars, white people. All of the world's major conflicts started by white people. Muslims haven't started any world wars. Muslims haven't dropped any nuclear weapons on anybody, but guess who did? White people, the United States. the colonizers. Not even the Chinese have tried to conquer the world. In all of their many, many centuries of history, the Chinese, I mean, they definitely had a feudal and brutal history, but it was always within their borders. Except that time Genghis Khan almost ran everybody off the whole continent. But I don't know, was Genghis Khan, was he Chinese? I don't know if he was considered Chinese or what. But Genghis Khan ran all the way to Europe, unbeaten, whooped ass all the way to Europe, almost pushed the white people off into the Atlantic Ocean. Then one day they just got on their horses and left. Nobody knows why. They just packed up and went back home. But if they wanted to, they could have wiped out Europe. Genghis Khan actually controlled most of the known world at that time. Think about that. Think about that. But when you think about actual history, I'm sorry to say, white people, y'all are batting 1,000 when it comes to evil and violence, and thievery. Even here in America. Let me tell you why I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving isn't for me. None of my people were pilgrims. And those pilgrims, the ones they call the early settlers, came here claiming that they were running from religious persecution. The king wouldn't let them worship the way they wanted to. So what did they do? They got on some boats, came here to the so-called New World, and slaughtered the natives here and took their land. And this is how we got America. The establishment of America, in my opinion, was wrong. But you know what? We can't go back and change history. What's done is done. But we can learn from it. We can learn a lot from history. We can learn not to repeat the same mistakes of the past. But humans are the scourge of the earth. We are like cancer. Think about all of the most fucked up things that have ever happened in the world, and they always have one common denominator. Humans. Humans ain't shit. And I can't say that I'm proud to be one. Really. We ain't shit. And one day, the universe is going to show us that we ain't shit. Believe that. Our time is coming, people. Get yourself right. Do everything you can to knock off the nonsense. Get out and vote next November, because let me tell you something, Joe, and this is kind of going off subject, but it's all related. If Donald Trump gets back in the White House, you can kiss America goodbye. Mark my word. If that motherfucker gets back in the White House, it's a wrap. And I hear a lot of y'all already talking about, oh my God, Biden's not doing shit. I can't stand Joe Biden. I'm not going to vote for him. I'm not going to vote at all. Listen, knock it off. Participate. Don't complain about the program if you're not participating in the program. The reason shit's so fucked up now is because of all the wrong people that were voted in the office. Y'all got to pay attention to these idiots. Don't just cast a vote because you're a member of the party. Fuck them party lines. Democrats and Republicans. Those ain't nothing but fucking high-level Crips and Bloods that don't give a goddamn about the neighborhood. Think about it. Blue and red. And that bullshit-ass mentality, that party mentality is trickled all the way down to the freaking dirtiest, grimiest streets in any city across America. Think about it. Blue and red is destroying the world. So if you got any sense of decency, if you give a shit about anything, you better participate and get it together. I'm your man's Ken Jackson. This has been the Ken Jackson Experience. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.